Evening and welcome to the select board meeting for June 20th, 2023. I'd like to call this meeting to order and a roll call, please.
Joe Shane, present.
Teresa Moss, present.
Jess Extenduranian present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank all of our veterans and those who served for our liberties here. The meeting is recorded and it will be uploaded to YouTube for future viewing. Chairman's additions and deletions. I have several additions. Do you guys have any first before I do one?
No, I don't.
No, okay. I would like to add 1.6, an update on our charter process. I would like to add 4.20 for appointments for Conscom. There'll be 2 appointments there. In 4.21, there's an appointment for open space and rec. And that's all I have. So what I think we'll do is I'll go ahead and ask for the motion and read it out, and you all would just need to say so moved, and we can move on rather quickly because we have a lot of appointments today. Okay, that's okay with you guys? Is that okay with you, Teresa?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Review and approve meeting minutes for 5/16/23 and 6/8/23. I'm going to move to our next meeting. And 2.0 appointments and hearings. There is no appointments tonight and there is no hearings tonight.
We have to do 1.6. They just added.
Yes, we have to do 1.6. Thanks for
1.6.
1.6, update on the charter process. Mr. Page.
Good evening. Am I good here? Or
You're good. Nope, you're good.
So I made the long trip into Boston this morning to go to the State House because our charter that we prepared and approved at town meeting was scheduled to be heard before the Joint House and Senate Committee on Municipalities and Regional Government. Sounds a lot more important than it probably is. But I was there. Our representative was there virtually, explained what had gone on in the process since 2018 to present, because we've gone through a lot of cycles. We lost our rep at one point, but all the people sitting on that committee seemed very receptive to getting this thing done before the end of the current legislative session.
Good.
And as I find out more, I will provide that information. On an aside, I'm retired, so I have a lot of time to walk and as well to play golf. And I noticed we got a bunch of buildings in town that would be wonderful if they could be repaired or restored to a manner that both meets the federal and state guidelines for ADA, but also maintains the historical feel for those processes. And I know that there's somebody, I don't know. Anecdotally, I've heard that there's someone who's willing in town to contribute to that, but they want to make sure that it happens in an appropriate manner. So I'm just hoping that the various committees, whether they be historical, whether they be select board, whether they be master plan committee, can get together, because we have some real valuable parcels that just seem to be sitting there waiting to rot.
I appreciate it. You're welcome. I want to thank you for helping shepherd this through the.
Oh, you're using the shepherd term. I love that.
Yes, through the quagmire of our government, our state government. But I know that we've been wanting to get this thing put to bed for a while now. So is there any kind of?
My feeling is that they understood what we had gone through. Losing Sheila and all that other stuff. And I also understand that time is of the essence, and Representative Scarsdale also pointed that out in her part of the testimony. That time is of the essence. I believe this legislative session ends the end of July.
Yes.
And it seemed, to my opinion, that they were very receptive to getting this presented to the two bodies, the House and the Senate, and getting it approved before the end of that legislative session.
Good.
But I will, as I said, I'll keep everybody informed as I hear more.
Okay. So again, thank you very much for helping us with that. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you, John. Great effort.
Okay. I have to change classes on this. Actually, I want to remove it. So we'll start off with 3.1. I'll look for a motion to appoint Colin Rose to the Recycling Committee for a 3-year term to expire June 30th, 2026.
So be it. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. I have a discussion on this. I have all of the other appointments that we have tonight have gone through a process where we can follow. And the following process is a volunteer response form for some. Others, it is a reappointment form that tells us exactly when this was voted on by the particular board or committee so that we know that it's gone through a proper process. I do not see this for this particular individual. I also don't know if this was brought in front of the board for the recycling committee, or if they voted on it, outside of something that says that something was okay verbally, which is a Post-it note and not a form. So I personally don't feel comfortable voting on this particular one, and I'd like to put this over to our next agenda and have the right form filled out.
I don't have a problem deferring it till we have the correct forms.
Okay.
Go on with that.
Okay.
I'm fine with that. Move on to the next meeting.
So would we table this, or how do I do that procedurally?
I motion to table it and put it to the next meeting.
Okay, so I'd entertain a motion to table until the next BOS meeting.
I make a motion that we table the appointment to Colin Rose to the next selectman meeting.
Okay.
Second.
And made in second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes. Teresa Moore, yes.
And Chess Sexton Green, yes. So that will be saved for the next one. I'll entertain a motion to appoint Judith Odier to the Council on Aging until June 30th, 2024 to complete a term vacancy.
So be it. So move. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes. Teresa Moore, yes.
Chess Sexton Iranian, yes. I will entertain a motion to reappoint Don Masuko as tree warden for the 3-year term to expire June 30th, 2026.
So be moved. Second.
And this one did have an email outlining the reappointment, so I will accept that. So all those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes. Teresa Moore, yes.
Chess Sexton Iranian, yes. 3.3, I'll seek a motion to reappoint. 3.4, appoint Jessica Consalvo to the position of Land Use Coordinator effective July 3rd, 2023.
So be moved.
One second.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
If I could.
Absolutely.
So as the board knows, we've had a vacancy in our lineage coordinator position since Mike left back in October. The position was posted for quite a while to the public. We had multiple interviews. We made an offer to one candidate who declined. We only really got one candidate that felt like it was the person we wanted to extend an offer to. During that time, one of the internal candidates who had initially declined to be interviewed for the position changed her mind. So Jess came to me and said, after thinking about it and discussing it with her family, she would like to throw her hat in the ring. So she was interviewed. We all know, I mean, Jess has been around for a little while in town. She's done great work with the Conservation Commission. And so she's been kind of working towards this while she's coming back from maternity leave. And so
When is that?
she will be back full-time on the 17th of July. And so hiring internally is kind of the best world. If she had applied for it back in October when Mike left, we wouldn't have posted it externally. We would have just hired her. So I think it's good. I think it's good for the department, maintaining some continuity. And I think Jessica did a great job.
And, I've just put in, I've worked with her personally on the outside. She does a great job. She's very detailed and I wish her all the luck in the world.
Something that I would find helpful is, I know that this is a paid position, right? But we use the terminology appoint for paid and volunteer position. It would help me if we do say appoint, then it's a paid position, that we say, where the funds, how it's being paid. Well,
Oh, sure.
that would just help me, which one, we know where the funds are coming from and
Yeah.
that it's a paid position.
So this
It's
is,
been the 50.
this isn't from the general fund. It
Yeah.
was budgeted. General
Just
fund.
going forward, because sometimes I get lost, I see all those, and I go, where's all this money coming from?
Sure. Sure.
Well, we didn't grab for your pocketbook. So yeah.
I still worry about everybody else. Part of it.
I too have worked with Jessica. I was on actually the first committee to get her when she was appointed. So I think this is a wonderful decision. When I first heard about it, I thought that was a great segue for her to come through. So there's no further discussion. All those in favor?
Thank you.
Big Marcia,
Chess Sexton Doreen. Welcome. Again and again. Okay. Here's the big one here with the summer recreation counselors. Did you want to say something first?
If I may.
Sure.
So I just wanted to say, thank you to the board, first off, for helping so much with getting our program back into the schools this year and making sure that our communities have a place for their kids that's affordable and safe.
Mhm.
And then I wanted to also add that we are unbelievably excited about not only the volume of staff, but the caliber of staff that we're hiring this year. They're exceptionally good adults, and we're very excited. And then last but not least, on the actual agenda, you guys missed Evan Shine at the end of rehire applicant Kimberly Kasparian. But again, there was like 20, so I'm not surprised. There's a lot of them.
There was a spreadsheet. That's what I'm gonna read off of.
Oh, okay, perfect.
That's it.
Yeah, because on the agenda it was missing, so I just wanted to make sure you had it.
Okay.
But yeah, we're very excited and again, very grateful to the board and to our town administrator for working so hard to make sure that our community has a place to go this summer. No kids have someplace to be. So,
And no last minute.
no last minute.
Yep.
No last minute, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
So I will entertain a motion to appoint summer recreation counselors, and I'm gonna read it if you guys wanna bear with me here. For the summer rec counselors would be Cameron Sullivan, Liam Bido, Brady Sheldon, Ava Deluck, Olivia Rowley, Heidi Alheimer, Devlin Peterson, Mason Gendron, David Rahula. As lead counselor, Christine Lanzone. For rehire, we have Julian O'Keefe, Ryland Arnold, Wyatt Gallant, Greta Heffler, Savannah Gilmet, Alana Rizzuti. For rehire for lead counselors, I have Megan Donovan, Emily Gold. And for rehire for junior operations assistant, which is a supervisory position, would be Kimberly Kasparian and Evan Shine. Right? Okay. So moved.
Second.
I have a second.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yeah, so again, this is just to help clarify, are all of these paid out of funds from the program, or are all of these paid from the general government, or a mix of both?
No, recreation is all revolving with the exception of my salary.
Say,
It's all out of the revolving,
So it's paid for from the program.
yeah,
except for who?
except for me.
Except for,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Should we say Marsh, yes?
Chaz Sexton Duranian, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Everyone for doing a great job.
We want
Thank you.
pictures for the annual report.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely. Thanks again, folks.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
3.6, I'll look for a motion to reappoint Veronica Kell to the Open Space and Recreation Committee.
So we moved.
Second,
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? This has the current term expiration. The expiration date on this would be 6/30/2024. All those in favor?
discussion.
Oh, yeah, discussion. Okay.
This is one, and I don't know, for a reappointment, is there supposed to be a form though anyways, or is that? Oh, I didn't find it, okay. Couldn't find it.
In SharePoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was looking throughout there, somehow I missed it, okay, thank you.
Okay. All those in favor?
Teresa Marsh, yes?
Chaz Sexton Duranian, yes. 3.7, I'll look for a motion to reappoint Mary Jane O'Hara to the Board of Registrars for a 3-year term to expire March 31st, 2026.
So we moved.
Second,
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? None from me. All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
aye, Teresa Marsh, yes?
Chaz Sexton Duranian, yes.
Chair, looks like 3.8 is a duplicate. So you
Yeah, I
can
was gonna
delete
say,
that.
it's the same. Well, it isn't a duplicate, because one says 24 and one says 46.
No,
So I don't
they
know
both
what
say-
we read into
I
the
think
record.
they both say.
They both
Yeah.
say 26.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I looked
It is a
at it. I was
literal
reading about-
Then 3.9, I'll look for a motion to reappoint Laura Schifrin as the planning board representative of the Townsend Properties Committee for a term to expire 3/31/24.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? There is none. So all those in favor?
Teresa Marsh, yes?
Shank, yes.
That's unanimous. 3.9, reappoint, look for a motion to reappoint Julie Byers as a general member of the Townsend Properties Committee for a term to expire on 3/31/24.
So moved.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Teresa Marsh, yes?
Joe Shank, yes.
Just Sexton Duranian, yes. I will look to a motion to reappoint Kevin Smith as a Conservation Commission representative of the Town Properties Committee for a term to expire 3/31/24.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Teresa Marsh, yes?
That's Sexton Duranian, yes. I look for a motion to reappoint Donald Hayes as a Finance Committee representative of the Town Properties Committee for a term to expire 3/31/24.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Tuesday, Marshall.
Thank you. Chad Sexton Duranian. In rapid succession. I'll look for a motion to reappoint Vicky Tidman as the Board of Assessors representative of the Town Properties Committee for a term to expire 3/31/24.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Tuesday, Marshall.
Thank you. Sexton Duranian, yes. Thank you, everybody, for Town Properties. That is a very important committee that we have here. Glad they're all reseated so they can continue with their work. It should be 3.14. Reappoint James P. Sartell as the Chief of Police, the Keeper of the Lockup, and the Agent for the Licensing Authority from 7/1/23 to 6/30/2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. In discussion. All those in favor?
Tuesday, Marshall.
Joe Shank, yes.
Cass Sexton Duranian, yes. 4.15, I'll look for a motion to reappoint, can I just say as listed in the agenda? So the individuals from the police, officers from, that are listed in the agenda from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024.
So removed.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Do we know if they have a full roster over there now? They do?
I believe they do, yeah.
Perfect.
I gotta
see.
Both the police and the fire department.
Yeah,
Perfect.
they still have, I believe police still have, I think there's still at least one in the academy,
Right.
but it's on,
It's,
Awesome.
it's gone through the process of being vetted to get hired, so that's the.
just needs to get through
Just needs to
that.
get finished with the academy and get sprayed in the face with a little pepper spray, and then we can get
Good to
started.
go, yep, there you go. So all those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Tuesday, Marshall.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. And I want to thank you. You do a great job. It's very nice to see, the reception that he gets from the towns and from the kids in town too. They just did, a couple of assemblies up at the school, which I thought were really important. And the kids seem to be very, very attentive to what they were helping them out for. 3.16, I look for a motion to reappoint Austin Cody as the Townsend Police Department Reserve Officer from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024.
So removed.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Tuesday, Marshall.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. Lastly, from the police, 3.17, to appoint, look for a motion to appoint the following police officers as the agents for the licensing authority from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. Christopher Peach, Lieutenant, George Reedy, Sergeant, David Phillips, Sergeant, Jeffrey Giles, Sergeant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Tuesday, Marshall.
Joe Shank, yes.
Sexton Duranian, yes. And this was in line with our last conversation around the budget time where he wanted to reorganize everything. So this falls completely in place with what they have, so we're good to go. 3.18, I look for a motion to reappoint Mary Letourneau as the Animal Control Officer from 7/1/23 to 6/30/2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Jason Morstead,
Shank, yes.
Chaz Sexton Duranian, yes. And I'll look for a motion to reappoint Kathleen Spofford as the parking clerk from 7/1/23 to 6/30/24.
so moved.
Second,
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Jason Morstead,
Shank, yes.
Chaz Sexton Duranian, yes. Well, this one here. The first one,
I believe for Concom, I thought you put as 3.20.
correct. So I do have, as an addition, a request for reappointment. I'll look for a motion to reappoint Kevin Smith as a member of the Conservation Commission with term to expire 6/31/26.
so moved.
Second,
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Shank,
Jason
yes.
Morstead. Jason Morstead,
Chaz Sexton Duranian. The next one is I'll look for a motion to appoint Ann Leclerc on a reappointment to the Conservation Commission. This doesn't have an expiration date on it.
It would be 3 years.
Okay, so
It was
it would be,
expired.
6/31/26.
Put in a discussion on that
Of course.
before we move the motion.
No, you have to make it. So
We
moved.
have to move it first, sorry.
Do I have a second?
Second,
Discussion. So I'll lead off the discussion with this. This was in March. There was a discussion about 96 Fitchburg Road. And it was stated by this individual that they were aware that they were filling in wetlands. And they've been aware of that for a certain period of time. And I was very concerned about that comment, because it was never brought up to the Conservation Commission. And if a commissioner is aware that somebody is violating one of the wetlands law and not bringing it up to the Conservation Commission, I have concern about voting for an or appointing an individual for that particular position.
so may I add to that a little bit? So since I was gonna come back on, and as I've been on, I've watched a lot of the conservation meetings, and the one that you're speaking of, I'll be very clear, it really caught my attention. So they're talking about possible violations to that property. And Anne Leclerc's words from herself was, she spoke with the previous owners of that property and told her there were wetlands there, and then they sold. In her exact words to the commission that night, I have watched them fill that wetlands in for 2 years. So for me, if we have an agent that is physically watching somebody violate our rules and what they took an oath to do, I would have to agree with you, Chaz. I'd find it very tough to reappoint someone to that position. That's all I got to say.
Anything?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't know the property. I don't know that they truly are wetlands. As we know, the wetlands laws have changed significantly through the time. I don't know if it's been inspected. If something was said in a meeting and it was done and not followed up with, I agree with you, but other than, you telling me that that's happened, I have no, evidence that that is actually what happened. So, to to me, we have people on the commission that have been, who've worked there for a while, and, I like to see their hard work, we could continue.
Mr. Chair, would be inappropriate if she's not sure, maybe she should have probably looked at the tapes, but however, I do have that.
No, I said, I did see the tape still, I'm not sure that the property, somebody saying something is not, I'm not sure of the property itself, and if the property was delineated as a wetland, and if the property was actually being filled, and if the person actually knew it was being filled. There was a lot of heated arguments going on at the time, and I don't know exactly
I
why
guess
what was said.
my
was being said.
stance would be, is if you are going to be in a public meeting, in a public forum, and make a statement that the previous owner told me there were wetlands there, and I watched them fill them in for the past 2 years, that's a huge statement, Teresa. I don't care how you cut that pie. If she wasn't sure about it, maybe she should have brought it to the attention of the commission.
And you know for sure that the lands were delineated as wetland, and they had been filled for the last 2 years, and the town did not do anything or know about it.
Well, I can say that I know the owner of the property right beside that property, and I've known him for many, many years, and that has always been a concern about the wetlands that was running off of that property onto his property. So I would probably say, and he's been in front of the commissions at different times talking about it. So for me, I'm not here to debate, if it is or it isn't. My argument is, if you're gonna make a public statement like that, that carries a lot of weight as a commissioner.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
I did ask in regards to this, and it was in previous discussions in regards to that particular property that had been brought up, that was definitely wetlands.
Okay, thank you.
And there have been other cases for other adjoining properties that have brought that up as a wetlands. So it was at least.
Just out of curiosity, do you have any idea well, not that it matters on my vote, but the Supreme Court completely changed the definition of a wetland. Is it considered a wetland now?
That we.
Not that it matters.
Yeah,
Just
no, I
discussion.
understand that. There is a whole, as a matter of fact, we are talking about the change in the wetlands. Is it tonight?
The FEMA maps.
The
Yeah, it
FEMA
is
maps
on
and
the-
all that, yeah, so.
So, okay, thank you, Joe. Yep, thank you, Joe.
Any further discussion on that? So all those in favor?
Of appointing her?
Yes.
No.
Lisa?
Yeah, because of the concerns, I'm not comfortable. The rest, I'm not comfortable.
Okay, and that would be a no from me as well. So that appointment did not go through it. 4.21. This is for open space and rec committee. So I'll entertain a motion for James Gates to be reappointed to the open space and rec committee, and because it's a reappointment, I'm told that there's no end date.
So we moved.
Okay,
Second,
motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
just the one, yeah.
Fantastic, so we're needing this. Alrighty, moving right along, meeting business 4.1.
We don't have any to discuss today.
Thank you. I was gonna say, Eric, it's all you.
Down quick.
And 4.2, FEMA flood insurance rate maps. I was kind of surprised to see my name on this, to be quite honest with you.
Like, ooh,
You're paying for it.
right? But you
Yeah.
know, any discussion? Eric, you want to fill us in on what your thoughts are on this?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, this is more informational than decision-making. We've been informed by FEMA that they're reissuing amended flood maps. The letter that we got has a link to the, I believe, to the packages to get the maps. This is to let the kind of the public know that information has changed. So if you were in a flood area, you should recheck the maps to make sure that your property is still in the flood area. Some people may luck out and be able to no longer pay flood insurance if their property came out of the flood area, or, you know, some people may go in it. So double check with your insurance carriers. We can, give the information to our land use department. So if anyone wants to come in and talk to Jess Consalvo or Matt, in conservation about the impact of, you know, moving into or out of a FEMA designated flood area, the staff can kind of have a conversation with you about what that would mean for you, for purposes of the town's bylaws and state regulations. But like I said, this is a federal mapping.
Are we in the statutory 90-day appeal period right now?
I don't think it's an appeal period, it's a comment period. And I don't know whether we're in the comment period, but I will say this to folks. If you believe for some reason this is incorrect, there are steps that you can take with FEMA to file either a LOMA, to file a LOMA if that's an individual property. Because you believe that the information that FEMA has about either the height or the floodplain location on your property is incorrect. So we can throw a copy of this letter on the website so that.
Yeah, I think I would like that, Eric. This does state that with a public comment period, if your community is identified as requiring an appeal period, then they'll send us a letter 2 weeks before the start of the 90-day appeal period. So maybe we should put that information out just so everybody has it. Anybody that's lives along the Squanicook, which is many of us.
Yeah, many people. Yeah. So there's a lot of affected properties in Townsend, so it's worth. I will talk with the webmaster to see if we can get the link directly to the maps.
Okay.
Next to the letter, so you can just click and go look at their property.
Good. All right. Good. That works. Now they know who I am and this says.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everything's
okay.
coming to
You spelled
address
my
you
name
now.
right too. That was kind of
Moving
surprising.
up in
Is that a good
life.
thing or a bad
I
thing,
don't know.
Chaz?
So I just want to be firm, we do have a link to the FEMA site, the flip map, but that's not updated, that's not the current map,
If-
so you wouldn't.
I don't know whether it's
think it is.
updated or not. I can double check.
It says 2010.
Okay, yeah, so those would
we
not be
want-
the
I just
updated.
don't want people going to that and think that's the link.
We'll make,
we'll
we
get that
can
updated.
amend that link too,
Okay, thank you.
so it goes to the current maps.
Okay. 4.3, review and approve ARPA reallocation form in regards to the cleaner for the Council on Aging Library.
So that's in the SharePoint. And this is, we should probably combine this with 4.4, which is the job description.
Correct. So joined.
So the ARPA reallocation form is just the ARPA form that we are required to fill out to reallocate funds. So we would need 2 votes tonight. One, to reallocate $15,000 from the other COVID expenses into the part-time custodian.
So my question would be, okay, we're gonna move this ARPA funds, we're gonna create this job, $15,000. But where does that funding come for next year? Where are we getting that money?
Well, that's so, we'll have to have a discussion, you know, we'll try it for FY24. because this is gonna pay for all of FY '24.
Mhm.
And during the budget process, I think we're gonna have to have a discussion as to whether or not it's something we need to try to roll into the general fund budget, or do we wanna reallocate more ARPA funds to do it? Because we had, the board had set up COVID cleaning for, was a money set aside for COVID cleaner for a long period of time, longer than we had it.
The sanitizer, sanitizing, all of that kind of.
That is over at the end of this month. So we can decide, I mean, the board can decide whether or not, and I would like to try to use it for a little bit so we can get some feedback before we make a determination as to whether or not is 10 hours right? Is 10 hours too much? Is 10 hours the right amount of hours? So that when we talk about where we want to do in the budgeting process, we can decide, do we want to, is it important enough
To keep it.
to keep it and is it important enough to keep it and fund it with ARPA?
So,
Now, my thought is on this, Joe, that we have a lot of foot traffic at the library and at the Council on Aging. We have talked about before the need to have somebody on premises to be able to take care of these things. And historically, it's been somebody from here has to go up there. God forbid, kids in bathrooms, shoving things down toilets, it gets pretty messy sometimes. So having somebody there is probably going to maybe prevent some issues. So that's the thought. I also think that somebody working with both the library, exclusively with the library and the Council on Aging makes better sense. And this is our ability to fund it with, not the general fund, but fund it with something like this so that Eric can determine whether or not it's something that they need to add to their staff going forward.
Yeah.
That I articulate.
No, that's good. I mean, those two buildings, when they're hopping, are the highest trafficked two buildings in town. And they serve food, which is in the Council on Aging. And so we are incredibly lucky as a town to have the infrastructure that has been so generously donated to us. The facility staff has a part-time custodian who works overnight.
Yeah.
And that facility is just more, I mean, what you need to have for a facility that has that many people.
Right.
It's just more than a part-time overnight custodian can handle.
And there are staff members that are actually chipping in and helping.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing the vacuuming. I mean, right now, staff members is not part of the job description. They're doing vacuuming. They're doing, things in the toilet. They're doing,
well, no, it's a good idea, but we just gotta look at, eventually ARPA money's gonna run out.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
and that's why I
just
wanna,
I don't wanna tie the town into a position that now we're struggling to get funding to fund them.
yeah. And so
As long as that person understands that,
Yeah.
I'm good with this.
this is something that both the library director and the, Council on Aging director have really pushed for. So I'm gonna, if we decide that we don't have the ARPA funds to do it, continue after 1 year, I'm gonna turn around to them and say, we need to find, I mean, you've got grants that come in for the senior center, and you've got the trust that comes in to help the library, and we would need some help to do that. That would be kind of my push. So but I think
To start at the.
I want to see how it goes. And so we can make a determination as to whether or not we truly need this, or whether, we need something different. Just as I think I mentioned at the last meeting when this came up, just as an aside, we did ask a private company. We got a quote from a private company, what it would take to do this. And it was something of the odds of $40-something thousand a year.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I guarantee you, we don't have the money for in our.
No, we don't.
15,000 sounds good. to
Yeah,
me.
I'm happy with that.
So we would take a vote to reallocate the $15,000 from other COVID expenses to a separate line for a part-time custodian, and then a vote to approve the job description for the part-time custodian for the Council on Aging in the library. So that would be two separate votes.
I can make a motion that we allocate from the ARPA funds to the cleaning for the COA in libraries
For 15,000.
for $15,000.
Second,
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
We'll just have it.
Yeah, all those in favor?
Sam Moore.
That's Sexton, Rainey, yes. We all said that together.
I
In
don't know what
unison,
happened to,
everyone.
the way it used to go, but okay.
So,
And then the job descriptions in front of you would like to post this as soon as possible. So this is a very kind of basic bare bones custodial job description, and there's nothing fancy about it. And we would just,
I'll entertain a motion to approve the job description for the COA library part-time custodian.
Sorry,
Second,
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Tracy Sam Moore, yeah.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton, Rainey, yes. Good, good. 4.5 is to review and approve the job description for the housing and grant administrator.
this job description, as folks are aware, is for the position that we're putting together with funds that were set aside for the grant administrator position, and for administrative support for both the housing authority and then administrative support for the affordable housing trust. We're going to take those funds and pool them into one lump to fund housing and grant administrator. The idea being that that would be 19 hours a week. Because of some other changes that have happened, we're going to, in the conservation, with the conservation agent being changed, the conservation agent and the conservation assistant being merged into one full-time position. There's going to be a desk in land use that this person will sit in. They'll be supervised by the land use coordinator. And they will be kind of helping out administratively for the housing trust and the housing authority, and also doing grant administration for the entirety of town hall.
Okay. Now, my question for you, Eric, is I did get an email agenda for the Affordable Housing Trust stating that on that agenda, they are talking about this particular position. Did they give input on the job description?
Not yet, no. So they were informed as to what the job description was going to include, because I just told them I'm taking what the housing authority's job description was for those hours. I'm just adding the Affordable Housing Trust into those same kind of administrative duties.
Okay.
So if the, so I think we can post it, and then if they have some radical changes that they feel like, I'll bring it back to the board.
All right. I just
change-
don't want
change
anybody
the
to think that
posting.
we're trying to usurp their.
Yeah, I did tell the trust what was going to be included in the job description.
Okay. And we knew that I shouldn't say the housing authority knew that.
It's the same as there's nothing different from this from what you already had. And quite frankly, there's nothing different from what the grant administrator position already had.
Correct.
Those two parts of it are the same. We just have added the Affordable Housing Trust into the
Okay, well,
administrative.
then I don't have a problem. You guys wanna? I'm gonna decide on this tonight.
I make a motion that we post the job description for the housing and grant administrator as seen in bylaw.
Second,
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Joe Shank, yes.
Tracy Moore, yes.
Chad Sexton, Rainey, yes. All right, work session 5.0 ARPA projects. I did not have anything to add to this outside of that. Did you guys have any questions or anything in regards to our ARPA?
No.
But it is nice that we're getting those from the accountant, so I can see that these things are working. I will say that.
Yeah, see that,
It's very,
yeah,
it's very helpful.
very,
Yeah, I agree.
You can read it, you can follow it down.
Yeah,
So Katie, that was a roundabout compliment for you.
yes. I will say, I can't overstate the benefit of having Katie in the building
Mhm.
just for little crises or this sort of stuff where she's very good about making sure that everybody gets the information that they need. It
It does make our job very easy.
yes, it really has been a benefit to the town, and the short time that she's been on, she's really doing a great job.
So that was a little more reinforcement. So,
Just in case.
thank you, Katie. 5.1, town administrator updates and reports.
So, I have a few things. We have, gotten the information from Mart on the marketing flyers that they, put together for, the bus route, just so everyone knows. I know we've mentioned it for the Board of Selectmen for a while. But starting on July 5th, right after the holiday, the town will be having a free shuttle bus that leaves from, right now, it's gonna be leaving from by the rec center.
Mhm.
We'll be leaving from, the parking area adjacent to the rec center and going down to Fitchburg to the intermodal, center down in Fitchburg twice in the morning. And then coming back from Fitchburg to town twice in the afternoon on weekdays. And then on the weekends, it'll be going kind of back and forth in the morning and then back and forth in the afternoon. So we've kind of, the marketing's out, they are putting it out there. It's on the MJTC website. I believe Harrison's put it up on our website.
Harrison put it up on Sunday, and I took the liberty to send it out to individuals that I know that have, certain pages on Facebook too, so that they could post that as well.
Yeah, so that's,
And it is circulating on, I think, all town web pages, individual web pages.
okay. So, you know, that the town is fully funding this for the first year, so it'll be free of charge to ride that shuttle bus to the intermodal from town hall. We have applied for some grants to create a more permanent parking situation in the lower lot that would house an actual bus shelter, to prep for that, but right now it's gonna be leaving from adjacent to the rec center.
Yeah.
So, I think that's really exciting and we hope we get some.
We've been working on that for a while, and I do want to thank former select woman Cal for helping us out for that, because that was a lot of work on several different committees to get that going. I know Veronica had a lot of work on that.
Secondly, and I think, some members of the board are aware of one or more of these, but the town was the recipient of 2 grants last week. The town received $160,000 grant from Mass Trails, which is very exciting to work on the interconnection between the rail trail that currently ends behind the Harbor Church and where it's going to restart on the other side of Shepherd's, on the other side of South Street.
Mhm.
So that we're going to create kind of some sort of a trail extension.
The 4th phase.
Yeah, along 119. So we got money from Mass Trails to do this connection and to work on the ADA portion of the intersection right there, which is not ADA compliant at the moment. So that's kind of it's really exciting. You know, we've got a lot of money to work with relative to the 850 feet that we have to actually construct. So we should be able to do some good things with that money. And then later on last week on Thursday, we got notified that the town received a $173,000 municipal fiber grant from the one of the community compact grants that will allow for the interconnection via fiber optic lines of multiple town buildings to town hall. I want to credit Chaz for being a driving force behind applying for this grant, and our vendor Brad Warren, from Guardian, who helped draft the grant, application, and we worked with another vendor, to provide us some updated information. We applied for it and we got $173,000 to put in fiber. So that's gonna be really exciting. It's gonna interconnect the town's buildings in ways that they have never been connected, and allow us to undo some duplication of effort. So we have to have firewalls at every single separate building. We have to have internet connection into every single separate building. Once we have fiber hookup, we will likely be able to cut off some of those duplicate.
Yeah, and this is going into the next phase of this would go into our disaster plan or whatever. We haven't decided what to name it yet. But we could, once we get the fiber established, we could go into any municipal building and be able to go on air with TCAM without a problem. And working with, I'll be setting up a committee shortly with the police and the fire and all of the emergency services so that we have a plan. So God forbid if something does happen, boom. So
that's a big deal for a couple of days to get those sort of grants. So I'm really excited about the work we're gonna be able to do on the ground and kind of in the wires. With those
It's
funds.
nice to see getting some grant money in to help us to do some of the things we've been talking about for a while to try to get done.
Yeah,
Thank you, Chaz, and everybody else that worked on that.
yeah. So that was a really big deal.
You'll see changes too, as things are happening.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to, this is something I wanted to bring up to the board. To take the board's temperature, so to speak, about July 3rd. So this year, July 3rd falls on a Monday. And July 4th, the holiday is the next Tuesday. I would like to get the board's blessing to close downtown offices on July 3rd. My experience in all the years I've worked is when you have things like that, nobody comes, everything's dead. And it just creates kind of a weird gap day in the.
So would it be, we tell everyone, we're not gonna work on Monday, but it's not a paid holiday? Or do we have to pay them for Monday and Tuesday?
We pay them for Monday. Yeah, we wouldn't send somebody away home without getting paid. But it's not like them getting paid isn't budget, so it's not. So I think it's starting off the fiscal year with a kind of a nice gesture to the employees of having an extra long weekend.
I don't know if we have this issue, I have no problem with it, but I know my own, back in the civilian world, if you got the Monday holiday and then they got off Tuesday, that's still counted as 16 hours. And then if you got more hours in the week, you could double it, like get overtime. Do we have any people in that situation? They could get Monday and Tuesday off and then work extra hours and get overtime. I'm especially thinking police or fire or anything.
No, I mean, so police and fire wouldn't have the day off, so it wouldn't count. I mean, the 4th of July is a holiday for them, so they get scheduled holidays, but they wouldn't get the.
So it's just town hall.
Yeah, it would just be at town hall.
Yeah, I have no problem with it, but like I said, I wouldn't want it to be able to somebody have Monday and Tuesday off and then be able to get extra hours in and make overtime.
Sure.
That's my 2 cents.
I know my company is letting us have off Monday and Tuesday as well.
Well, I did one better than that. My company's closed for the week.
For the week.
So, I mean, in a Monday, like you said, Monday's really a tough day. Nothing's gonna get done.
Yeah.
Anybody gonna be doing anything for the holiday anyway, they're going camping, they're gone, they're not coming back just Monday to work.
Yeah, that's, I
And-
agree with that.
I mean, it's money being spent And I guess I wouldn't have an issue with that as long as people really appreciate that gesture. It seems like every time, you know the saying, no good deed goes unpunished,
Yes, I do know that saying, yes.
right? So, you know, as long as people understand and appreciate it, you know, I mean, the board, and I can't speak for all three of us, but, you know, as a board, we work very hard to keep the costs down for the taxpayers. So I don't want people to think, at least speak for myself, that I'm just saying, oh yeah, do it.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I realize this is an odd circumstance. It's certainly not going to be an annual thing that people get an extra day off around 4th of July when it, you know, but this is a weird year that where it falls just like that. And you have to take the 4th on the 4th. So,
So I think you felt the heat of where you get. The temperature's good.
Mild but balmy.
yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Just handle that different than the snow days when they close the schools.
As I said,
Easy.
as I said, do
Oh,
my
push
best. Do my best. When I get my meteorology degree, I will do it a different way.
We're gonna send you to meteorologist.
There you go. There you go. Well, Townsend is, I will say this, just about snow. Townsend is such a weird climate for snow.
Mhm.
It's like the coldest place this side of the Berkshires. You
A
know,
little hollow here.
and like there's snow happens here when it doesn't happen anywhere else in Middlesex County.
Living in the harbor, we are four degrees different than any other place in town. So the town is at a very different temperature. Then you get in the harbor, especially when it's cold.
Yeah,
It's 4 degrees colder.
yeah.
And you get the weather that comes off of the Monadnock.
Exactly. Exactly.
That is my.
That's the story.
That's my story of ticket.
You've done well.
This is report on marketing. We already did that.
Yeah, that was written down in there as part of my town administrator's doc.
And the flyer and all that is put up. I'm wondering if we have any flyers that we could have available out somewhere here in town.
I'll call Martin.
The energy.
Oh, thank you very much for reminding me that. I apologize. I'm not finished. Sabrina saved the day again.
The time's
Well,
up.
This is why she's invaluable.
yes. Oh, yeah. No, more than once. So the Energy Committee has submitted they're submitting their grant application for the Green Communities Grant, the next round of Green Communities Grant.
Yeah, I like thunder.
Well, we need the board to vote on it to allow us to submit the Green Communities Grant for the next round. So we just need approval of the board.
And it has to be
submit
submitted by June 23rd, so.
Yeah, so we do need to vote on it tonight to submit for the next round of Green Communities Grant. And so this is, for folks who are not aware, the Green Communities Grant is a series of grants that allow for energy efficiency upgrades in municipal buildings, municipal facilities. The town has been doing this for a little while. We've gotten some energy upgrades in the school buildings. We've gotten some energy upgrades in town hall. And now we are moving on to the next round of things that have been identified by the Energy Committee and the consultant. Karen Chapman at MRPC is submitting the grant for us. So I would just need approval from the board for me to sign the grant application on behalf of Townsend to go forward with the Green Communities Grant for the next round.
And we qualified for the round because we met the criteria for the first round. We did, we're able to show reduction at the schools with changes to the lighting at the school and certain other criteria we were able to meet. So because we did that, we did qualify. We also, if anybody's interested, I don't know if it's in that, but they also have projected, if they do get the money, where they like to see it used in 2003. And I have that from the 2023 where I'd like to, where they, like to see it, and a couple of the things that they're thinking about are, weatherization at the municipal garage, weatherization at the Memorial Hall. Those are the type of projects that would be covered under this grant that they would like to see help, happen. One of the other, outside of that is they like to go back to work on, they still think there's money, they know there's money to be made on modification of lighting fixtures at Spalding Memorial School. They've already seen that pay off. So that's one of the areas, but it's not number one or number two, but they do have that, in there. And part of the reason that's in there is because that really helped them get, this spring.
If folks remember, at the end of the last series of grants, we were scrambling to try to get all our paperwork together, get all our ducks in a row, receipts done, invoices paid and signed. But we did manage to get them all to MRPC in a timely enough fashion for us to be we were afraid that we were going to qualify for this round.
So we did a pre-grant application for this or no? Did we?
The application needs to be submitted by June 23rd, and we were told we are eligible for it because we met the qualifications by meeting the criteria from last year.
Mhm.
So that, I did, it's sort of like your pre-grant application, we're on.
Right, yeah, that's what, my only issue, is that I personally don't like the last minute, 11th hour. Boom, here you go, we need to get it
Well,
approved.
part of it
You know,
is
having a
my-
chance to read it.
My fault. I had been at the meetings and I did bring it up at a couple of the meetings, but this, I can show you the emails. The first email was sent to us, the first meeting that they put this all together, goes back to 5/18. I did, bring it up, that I'd like to get them in to go over.
So it was pretty quick then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They,
Okay. No, I understand that.
but, I brought up a little bit of what was going on, but I didn't bring up the deadline, and I will take ownership that I should have brought up the deadline at the last meeting that I brought up that they were, because I did have all the information for the last meeting, and if I had it ready, we probably could have dealt it out at that last meeting.
Yeah, I think we have to pay more attention because I'm not big on not really reading up and dealing with it and then taking a vote. I don't feel confident to do that.
I do believe though, I hold Karen Chapman in very high regard. She does very top quality work, so I'm comfortable with allowing this to go forward.
Here's my point I'm making is if it's out there, we just as a board somehow through town administrator, whatever, it needs to get to each one prior to a meeting so we can spend some time reviewing it.
Yeah, well, it was sent to Eric, it was sent to the selectmen, it was in the SharePoint. I just should have made a bigger deal about it, that's what I'm saying.
No, okay. All right. So I'll entertain a motion to allow Eric to sign for the grant for the energy committee.
So, second,
Motion was made and seconded. Any further discussion? And that's all we need, your signature, and that's good to go. Right, all those in favor?
Teresa and Marcia?
Frank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes.
Thank you, Sabrina, for reminding me.
I had it on mine.
5.2, reports from board liaisons.
So the Energy Commission needs a form signed by June 23rd. We had them last meeting. They didn't.
That's the same.
I think, oh, we just had them signed. Okay, I have nothing else to report.
Elected boards. Goodness, where do we start? I wish all the meetings kind of were not, like, it seems like they're all on the same day for me. So I start from 3 o'clock in the afternoon until like 9. I know that I'll bring this up at this point. There was a water main break that was on 80 Main Street. Was it 80 Main?
Yeah.
There was a motor vehicle accident which took out a utility pole. we're not really sure of the particulars on it, but there was a water main break at that particular location, which has really taken up a lot of, our municipal time and effort. I will say that there has been a big collaboration in regards to how we're gonna get this fixed. There's been a lot of, other individuals brought in to look at things. Some of the decisions that were made is to reduce the impact on our water customers, so understand that there is an issue there, and it is an ongoing issue, and we'll have more details as they come up. But the water department did, that's the last thing they needed on what they have going on, but I want to thank everybody that's working there and in their diligence in trying to get it repaired as quickly as possible. As far as the others, I had attended one meeting, but I was not able to go to the last planning board meeting. I don't think they sent me an agenda, so I didn't have it on my calendar. But outside of that, we have the gazebo, which is almost finished. That I want to thank Todd Arsenal and associates for their work out there. If you have not seen it, I suggest you go look at it. He's done some phenomenal work there. Parks and Cemetery has done some phenomenal work out there. I also want to say that Parks and Cemetery did a great job on the stairs over at the rec center. And if anybody noticed, yesterday they put up a new flagpole at the rec center, which was an awesome thing. So thank you, Roger, for taking care of that for us. That's all I got.
Just, as far as public safety, I have my meetings the first Monday of each month with each one. I had it prior, I gave that report last time. I won't have another meeting until we come back, but I just wanna, you're talking about the great job over at the bandstand. And I know we talked about they were gonna try to buy a portable stage for the back. I heard today, and I actually seen it, I believe that there was a trailer all custom done with railings that will be rolled in there and set up. And that was for free, so that was a huge asset from the person that did that.
Yes, we got some great people in town.
We
I
do.
will say that. And Parks and Cemetery will take care of the
Bringing it back.
bringing it back
Yeah,
and forth
perfect.
and storing and all of that.
That's huge. That's a great, hey, any money that, you know, residents and citizens and business people can do to help it's huge.
I think it's great, and
It's a great. cause.
Roger is keeping us updated. I get texts all the time, to
Yes.
exact pictures.
Yeah, text
He sends
pictures and everything,
pictures
yeah.
and-
Well, I see them firsthand a lot.
Yeah, I bet you
I get
do.
to see them,
Yeah.
so, cause I'm around a lot.
5.3 announcements and communications. We did talk about the new bus schedule, fare free, which means that you do not have to pay for it for the first year. It was voted on in town meeting, that we would absorb the cost for the first year. So I think that's an awesome thing. Townsend Military Band, since the gazebo is pretty much done, we did put this on the website, right?
I'll make sure it is.
So this is, but I did want to say that on June 22nd, which is what, this Thursday?
Yes.
The Christchurch Townsend will sponsor the lawn party at the Townsend Military Bands. Thursday, June 22nd concert in the town common. Church members will be grilling hot dogs, hamburgers, and cheeseburgers to sell to hungry concert goers. There will also be cookies, chips, soda, and bottled water available for purchase. They all have some lawn games. Look at that. Cornhole, can jam, and no, what's that? AUBB couple will be set up on the common for that evening for the entertainment. But it's always a good time, and I'm really looking forward to many years of that gazebo, because we did do a lot of work on that. Yes. Next thing we had was, we did have, one of our board of registrars, Catherine Thrasher had passed away on the 29th, 2023. And, we just wanted to, give our regards to the family. We also had a decision from the zoning board of appeals for 22 Main Street. That was brought in front of us as a mandatory referral in regards to the handicap spot being put in front of the building. That is, was the decision of the ZBA to allow that. Conservation, chapter 150, wetland regulation changes, which is posted on the Conscom webpage. This is what I was talking about earlier.
Right.
The Conservation Commission, actually, it was something that Jessica had spearheaded to make the changes on our regulations.
local
to match,
regs.
right, to make, to match the changes that were in there. And it's great to know that she's gonna be the land use coordinator, so, we all can be well informed of what's going on. There also is going to be a public forum, to be held on Thursday, June 22nd at 6 p.m. Which is,
So come before the military band concert.
right before the military band concert. But it's their 2023 draft update. And I did not see anything in regards to that, so I need to look more myself because I'm a little interested on what the update is. Also, town council, the hours moved to June 27th from 1 to 4. Adam had a commitment that he needed to go to, so he moved it up to 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. 5.4, our next meeting is Tuesday, July 11th, 2023 at 6 p.m.
Although we were contemplating having a meeting next Tuesday if there's a collective bargaining agreement that needs to be,
Yes, if there's a collective bargaining agreement, then we
and just for that, or
Yeah. just have it for,
Next Tuesday, I will be out of state.
can you join us by Zoom?
What time?
Oh, it'd be 6 o'clock if we did it.
Yeah, because I planned the trip. When we didn't have a meeting. I'm gonna be in New York City.
Collective bargaining.
Yeah. I will,
We'll say, I mean, so it doesn't have to be next Tuesday.
Yeah, it can be a different day.
We can do, because this is not a regularly scheduled
Do it on
meeting.
Wednesday, right?
I'm in Hawaii, so we do different time zones.
I'm gonna be in the harbor.
what's wrong with that? You should be alone.
I make all this decision by yourself, Chaz. Well, that would mean we wouldn't have a quorum.
I have
which
no
would be a
life,
problem.
apparently.
Shouldn't be a problem.
I mean, if you, well, figure it out. I mean, I know Tuesday night at 6, how
Well-
long would it be? It'd be,
It's just a very short meeting.
Yeah, I mean, it's only if we have collective bargaining agreements that are finalized that need to get voted on.
I mean,
But we can,
Let's wait to see what we have. and
if
then-
they come up, I will reach out to all the select members and let you know we have something to vote on, and then we'll post it.
basically, it posted that.
That works for me.
Yeah, so we'll try to do our best.
And then I'll entertain a motion to review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants out of session.
So we will.
Any second? Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Look at Jeff.
With nothing.
That's actually uranium. And then I will entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session pursuant to general law, chapter 30A, subsection 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares, which he does.
So moved.
And adjourn.
Adjourn from executive session.
Second. She moved it.
You moved it, you seconded it, and I'll say all those in favor.
Okay, say Marcia.
Chaz Sexton Duranian, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.